Hey guys, so first of all, I'm sorry if you can hear a really weird like sawing noise. There are builders in the building next door and they're sawing. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but they're here like every morning at 8 o'clock and it's really annoying. But before I get in with the actual video itself, I want to talk about the 11th Doctor's sonic screwdriver. I managed to find it at £21 on Amazon. Everywhere else it's between 30 and 40, so I thought this is a really good price. You know, it's basically half price, I'm going to buy it. And I did. And when it arrived this morning, I waited about 2 weeks for it at the most. And when it arrived this morning, I was so excited. This is it here, and it comes in like a cylindrical packaging rather than like the flat packaging, which the 10th Doctor's came in. And I was so excited, and I'm completely just being totally let down by it. It looks really good. I can see there, this bit comes up, it goes down, and then when you push the button, it lifts up like that. See, it is quite poorly made. That's the first thing. It takes ages to stay down, and then obviously it does eventually, and then you just press this button here, it comes up. There's a button at the back as well, but that doesn't do much. And obviously you're thinking, where's the sound? I've pressed the button, there should be the sound, the lights. Well, in here there's a battery compartment, or I should say there was. It was about this big, and there was two very tiny screws in it. In fact, you can see one of them there. Well, you can't, but there is one there. And I spent an hour with the right size screwdriver and about 4 others and knives. I nearly cut my hand off with a knife trying to get into this, and it's just the screws were just welded in. So in the end, about an hour later, I just gave up and took a hammer to it. I thought, I'm not going to get in at all, so I might as well take a hammer to it and see if it works. Yeah, it didn't work. I got into it, but then one of the battery bits came out, so it wouldn't work. So that was really annoying. So now it doesn't light up. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, because there's like, obviously you've got the loose wires there, which are connected. I don't know if you can see it, but they run through the tube. You can see them roughly. They run through there to the bulb. I don't know, because I get paranoid when there's like loose wires and things in toys. I just get really, I can't sleep if they're in the house. So I don't know what I'm going to do, because it doesn't work, but it looks good. It just clicks together like that, and it still looks nice, you know, it still looks like the screwdriver. The only problem is it doesn't light up. So I don't know whether I'm going to keep it or not. But what I'm trying to say is, don't pay a lot of money for it if you can help it. I mean, £21, it's still a waste of £21, but at least it wasn't 40 quid. I'm sure mine is the only one where the screwdrivers were a bit stuck and they wouldn't come out. I'm sure they're not all faulty. But it is really hard to get hold of anyway, so I'm sort of a bit dubious about this. But I just thought I'd show you and tell you my trauma with it. So yeah, it's not safe for kids if you're going to break it like I did, but to be fair, that's the only way I could get in. I know some people are going to say, well, you shouldn't have taken the hammer to it, obviously it wouldn't work then, but there was no other way of getting into it. I couldn't take it back, it's just too much hassle. It'd be easier just buying another one, which I might eventually, I don't know. But I just think it's a bit faulty. It's not that well made. I mean, it looks good, so I might keep it just to display it, but if you want a screwdriver, get the 10th Doctor screwdriver, because it's much better and just better, full stop. So, yeah, now I've got that out of the way, I'm going to talk about, never mind the Buzzcocks. I was planning on talking about the show as a whole, but then I remembered you have the Doctor Who episode, which was on actually last week, or week before that, and it's just so amazing. Normally hosted by Simon Amstell, but of course he left, so since then loads of people have been filling in, and David Tennant did it, and his was like a Doctor Who special. And on Noel Fielding's team you had Catherine Tate, and I want to say Jamie Cullum, I think it was. And then on Phill Jupitus' team you've got Joe Wiley and Bernard Cribbins. If I'm looking down, it's because I've got like things written down on my piece of paper, which are very scrappy and full of scribbles, which I was just sort of doing really roughly as I was watching the show. So the sort of few first Doctor Who things. First of all, there was a TARDIS in the studio, then there was an Ood, and then there was a Dalek in the lineup when you've got like they've got to work out who the actual person is. There was a Dalek there, so that was quite nice. There were a lot of funny quotes that I just want to sort of go over briefly. There was one where Catherine Tate was like, the doctor, I've never ever called David the Doctor. David asked Catherine what TARDIS stands for, and Joe Wiley, being the know-it-all that she thinks she is, butted in. Catherine was like, time and dimensions, space, and you know, she was slowly getting there, and Joe Wiley comes in, time and relative dimensions and space. I wanted to punch her. So give Catherine a chance. And Catherine actually said, I can't remember the exact quote, but it was something like, I would have got that if you hadn't interrupted me. Catherine actually pointed out that Joe had interrupted her. It really, really frustrated me, because Jo just thinks she knew it all. And there was one point, which I've got the actual quotes, Jo said to Catherine, "I should have been the assistant, not you." I mean, how horrible is that? That's, I mean, first of all, can Jo Wiley act? I don't know. I don't know if she would have been a good assistant. But that is a really horrible thing to say to Catherine. I mean, Catherine was a fantastic assistant. Donna was amazing. And if Jo Wiley was in Doctor Who, I probably wouldn't watch it. Or I would, but I'd watch it with like my eyes closed. So that was quite a really horrible thing for her to say. But then Catherine said to David, "I thought you were Mr. Who." To be fair, I get really wound up when people call the Doctor Doctor Who. But when Catherine said she thought his name was Doctor Who, I thought it was quite amusing. It also started off the trend. I just read something else on my sheet of paper, so I'm going to laugh throughout this quite a lot because it is hysterical. And somebody might say, "Well, you've just given away all the best quotes. It's pointless watching it now." Believe me, the quotes I'm giving you are just a fraction of the humour in the show. There's so much funny things in it, so don't worry, I'm not spoiling it. And there was a bit where they go, where David goes, "Barrow man," and shakes his fist. That was really weird, shaking fist. So that was amazing. And there was also, sorry, I can't stop laughing at this. There was a bit where Bernard Cribbins, yeah, there was a bit where Bernard Cribbins said, "I like prawns, they're nice." And it's just amazing comedy. There's a bit where Catherine Tate turned around and goes, "This is supernatural because of you." Hysterical. And then David laughed, and David laughed a lot, and it was so cute. I loved it. And then Catherine was commenting on the noise of the TARDIS. I can't keep a straight face. She was commenting on the noise of the TARDIS, and she goes, "Normally it's like a horn or something." Obviously we all know that the TARDIS doesn't sound like a horn, but coming from Catherine, that was just amazing. Then you have, when they're talking about the Dalek, and Phill Jupitus put on a Dalek voice, which I won't imitate because I can't do it. Plus it's better when you hear Phill Jupitus do it, and he's just going harder, harder in the Dalek's voice. And then they were asking if the Doctor had a sex chamber in the TARDIS, and if the Doctor had sex. And the Doctor replied, David replied, like, "I've got to stop doing that." David replied, "Well, the Doctor does have kids." And in reference to the Doctor's sex chamber, yes he does, and I've got the key. So there was also a bit where David looked really longingly into the distance, and it was so beautiful. My heart just dropped completely. I was like, "Oh, I love him, really I do." And so that was really beautiful. And then the final sort of funny bit, my throat just sort of gulped. The final sort of amusing bit that I'll talk about is in the lyrics round where they give lyrics and the teams have to give the next bit. David goes, "Doctor, Doctor, I've got a strawberry on my head." And Catherine Tate turns around and goes, "You must be a cone." Absolutely amazing. I love it. She is just hysterical. There were rumours that she was drinking throughout the show, but to be honest with you, who cares? Fantastic, amazing. Catherine created most of the comedy in this, but Bernard Cribbins was hysterical as well. There's a bit in the intros round where he like sings. Oh, it's so funny. I think most of this is on YouTube. So I'll put the link in the below bar to you if I can find it, but if not, it's on Dave every now and then. It's repeated quite a bit, so it's definitely worth looking out for. Even if you're not necessarily a fan of Doctor Who, it is so funny. Best ever, never mind the Buzzcocks. I know I haven't been informative with the structure of Buzzcocks and things on this. I'm going to do a separate video on the show itself, but this was just on the Doctors. So yeah, that's all I want to say about this. Absolutely hysterical. Definitely worth watching. I know my time's running out. There's probably more I want to say about it, but I can't. And I'm sort of engrossed in the fact that I'm playing with this key now. So, definitely worth watching. Absolutely perfect for David fans, Doctor Who fans, Catherine fans, and everything like that. So, that is all I'm going to say about this. All I have time to say for, but I want to say more, but that's all I have time to say about this. So, I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.